pardon, Priestess, but you've been staring out across Ashenvale for hours.
I sense something dark stirring within the forest, Chandras. It feels as if it's heading this way.
The greenskins who killed Cenarius?
Perhaps. Perhaps something more.
Put your backs into it. Jaina and the Orc War Chief expect this base to be built swiftly.
Ah, we shouldn't even be here. Or siding with the Orcs.
We're here to hunt the remaining demons, human. You're lucky our goals are the same.
All right, you men. Mind your business. Back to work.
So, these orcs and humans presume to run rampant through our lands? They will regret ever stepping foot into Ashenvale. We will establish a base and deal with these outlanders as they deserve.
Okay, so these are the Night Elves. They are...
The Tree of Life is the heart of our Night Elf villages. Use the tree's ability to entangle the gold mine. After entangling the mine, send wisps in to extract gold. The goddess calls.
So the Night Elves have certain parallels from other Blizzard games, specifically from StarCraft.
Wisps are friendly spirits that harvest gold and lumber for our villages. They also create the structures that allow us to train more warriors.
So they have moving structures like the Terrans in StarCraft. Ah, can't do a damn thing until this is built. They also have certain limitations. Well, it's not a really limitation, it's more like optimization. Their workers are constantly with the gold mine, so they just constantly pick up. And while they can only pick up 5 wood at a time, they don't damage. They don't damage the tree, and they can constantly harvest it, and it's faster.
The moon wells are the source of our nourishment and strength. You can build additional moon wells to nourish more troops.
Yeah, Vic, I never understood that. Like, you're trespassing, but we're not warning you that you're trespassing. You're supposed to know that you're trespassing. And like half of the elves ever conceived in video games and in literature
more lumber is required.
Have this idea of hiding themselves, which means that there is no way for anybody to even know that they're trespassing because they're hiding themselves. It is nonsense from many angles. It's like, you're trespassing, but we are hidden here and you're not gonna know that we're here, so you're supposed to just instinctively know not to come into our territory. Where does our territory end? Well, we'll let you figure that out. Usually by dying. Okay.
Create more moon wells.
It's also interesting that, as far as I know, the elves that we usually think of, these tall beings with long ears and usually golden hair or that kind of thing, that's what Tolkien invented, essentially. Elves are usually drastically different in many cultures' folklore. I don't know if this version of elf even exists anywhere outside of
Train
Tolkien's
war
invention.
troops. Construct an ancient of war.
Your building is complete.
I mean, it might be. Also unique mechanic to the Night Elves, they
I should've
go
thought
into
of it.
full stealth when there's nighttime. And much like
More
the
lumber is
Zerg,
required.
their workers get consumed when they make a building. Yeah, only when making ancients, but half of their buildings are ancients. The only buildings that are not ancients are the moon wells, the upgrade building, and the temple of the ancients. Every other building is an
Your
ancient.
building is complete.
It's like they took a bunch of
Someone
things from
could use the
StarCraft
wires.
and mixed it about. Not that it doesn't work, it does, and it's an interesting game concept, but yeah, certain things didn't have to
Your
be
building
done in a
is
certain way.
More lumber is required.
But it works, so I shouldn't really complain. It's not bad, it's just... I don't like when games recycle too much. I mean, there are certain things that you expect from a franchise or from a game, and that's fine. But you know, you're charging money for this, and when you're charging money, I have a less understanding for recycling old ideas and selling them as new. Although, to be honest, Warcraft 3 in its
I stand ready.
way that it was done was kind of mostly original when it came out, even though it did reshuffle a bunch of things from StarCraft. But when StarCraft 2 came around, despite StarCraft 2 having brilliant gameplay,
Your building is
it did a couple of things in a way that I don't support. One of it being that it split 3 campaigns into 3 individual games and charged each one of them as a full-priced game, which is an absolute dick move.
I stand ready.
And 2 is that there are very few original units in StarCraft 2. You think as a comparison, Warcraft 3, there's a bunch of new units even in the 2 races that are been staple of the game from franchise from the Warcraft 1. In StarCraft 2, the vast majority of units are recycled.
Your building is complete.
I
Thanks,
stand
guys, yet.
ready.
Yeah, well, I didn't say that Command & Conquer is any better in that regard.
I heed the voice of Elune.
But there's also the things that are unseen. So the concept of building constructors in Command & Conquer series is essentially stylized that the mobile construction
I
building
stand ready.
constructs the materials and then they're built over time,
Someone
and
cleans the wire.
it is depicted as the building growing and assembling itself in mere seconds. That's as supposed to reflect days or even weeks of it being constructed. It's kind of like that, but of course the
I
idea was
stand ready.
abandoned around the Red Alert 2, and then it was like, no, this is just happens in seconds. The building
I
just
should've
grows
thought
out of the dirt, out of nothing.
I heed the voice of Elune.
Ah, crap. Wrong button there. Sorry.
By Elune. The goddess calls.
Oh no, I'm not, like I said, it's not the gameplay that it's bad. StarCraft 2's gameplay is awesome. It's still one of my favorite strategy games ever made, especially for that period. It's I don't mind the game at all. It's just certain things. There's too much recycling. You know, you expect to see some classic units in a strategy game, but you also expect not all of them to be old units. You expect some nuances. You expect something, some new things happening, and so much in StarCraft 2. Well, I'm gonna say for Wings of Liberty specifically, because for the Zergan Protos they actually did add quite a bit of new things. Almost half of the units in Wings of Liberty are recycled from the first game.
We are preparing to leave this place, Priestess. There is a terrible evil corrupting these lands, and I will not allow it to consume my people. Unfortunately, we cannot leave until the rest of our tribe has been accounted for.
Do not fear, Old One. I will find your tribesmen and lead them back to you.
Thank you, Priestess. We will reward you when you return.
As the goddess wills.
10 Furbolgs. 10 freaking for. I don't remember if I ever completed this side quest just because it's a fetch quest and I have to find 10 of these blasted things.
Immediately. By Elune. So be it. As the goddess wills. So be it.
We're not gonna be missing gold. There's plenty of gold left, but there is no really need for that much gold in this mission. Okay, Furbolgs, where would you be?
Immediately. As the goddess wills. Immediately.
Of course, every game has its own identity, and that's fine. But think of it this way: when you have Command & Conquer 1, after that you had Red Alert, which was built in pretty much the same engine and the same technology, and it had a few things shared with Command & Conquer 1, despite being in a completely different setting. And what the hell happened here now?
So be it.
Now because of these guys. It had a few things and a few units shared, but it had a bunch of new units. Especially with the Retaliation expansion, which added even more. There it was mostly because it was a limitation of technology, so they couldn't do much with it. But then when the Firestorm came out, it was all new units. And when then it came Red Alert 2, again, all new units, not a single thing was carried over. Even more so, in Red Alert 2, the units started getting special abilities, or special functions, so nothing was recycled. Then you had... Which one was after Red Alert 2? I think Tiberium Wars? Again, while there were some familiar things, not a single unit was the same. Again, they were all either replaced completely or new ones were added. The only thing that were repeating, like the thing like the riflemen.
Immediately.
Every single tank was pretty much this, and the flame tank, yeah, the flame tank repeats. So the staples would be, and even those would be quite drastically different. The Orca unit from Command & Conquer 1 versus the Orca unit from Tiberium Wars, from Firestorm. They will all drastically different, both in function and in design. So I wouldn't agree that Command & Conquer was recycling a lot. It recycled some things, but not a lot. Yeah, well, key concepts have to stay the same. I'm not saying anything about the key concepts from Warcraft. It's the base mechanics are still the same. The only truly new addition in Warcraft 3 was that the heroes had more of a thing with the
So be
abilities and stuff, so some RPG mechanics were added, but other than that, the game was
So be
pretty
it.
much the same.
As the goddess wills.
So that's fine. The base
So be it. As the
details
goddess wills.
of the game can stay the same. That's fine. Those are the things that make the game
As the
recognizable,
goddess wills.
and that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. It's just, you know, mostly when they recycle things completely, because
As
Sacred
the
grove
goddess
is being
wills.
desecrated.
specifically what I mean is this. If you played
Fair enough.
StarCraft 1,
Voice of Elune.
you could go into StarCraft 2
By Elune.
and assume that it's this exactly the same game. It's that similar.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
Which isn't the case for most of Command & Conquer games. Well, they were all same in the base concept of harvesting minerals and then building a base and then pretty much unit rushing the enemy base. You still had plenty of new concepts between them.
By Elune.
With Warcraft, not so much though. Warcraft 1 and 2, definitely. Warcraft 3 had a bunch of RPG mechanics that they added. But there were also plenty of new units. StarCraft 2, just Wings of Liberty specifically. Again, I have to say, I'm talking about Wings of Liberty specifically. It was just so much recycling. I remember distinctly when
Our
I
sacred
played.
grove is being desecrated.
I just came from there. I remember when I played Wings of Liberty originally, my first time, my first experience of it, I was like, is this a sequel or a remake? Because it felt the same. If I didn't, I was like, well, this would work as a remaster? I mean, I'm starting with Raynor. I had Raynor in the beginning of the original StarCraft. Is this a remake? And that feeling was following me pretty much for the first 3 missions. It felt more like it was a remake than a sequel. It was that much was the same.
So be it.
I was kind of happy when I saw the first new unit you got, which was the Marauder, that grenade launching
So
unit.
be it.
It was like, oh, so they did add some new units. But if you think about it, of all the units that you get in StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, what's new?
So be it.
The Marauder is new. The Vulcan is new. And I think that's it.
On your mark.
I'm probably forgetting a bunch of units, but I can't remember what else is there new of units in
I stand ready.
StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty from StarCraft 1.
Away.
So be it.
There is the Marine, there is
As
the Medic,
goddess wills. So be it.
there is the Marauder,
As
that
the
one was
goddess
new,
wills.
the Firebat is old. No, that's the thing. I'm not saying it's a bad. Far from it. Like I said, StarCraft 2 is one of my favorite real-time strategy games. I still enjoy it. I love it. I'm just saying that they just recycled so much. They didn't do it later on with other games. So they didn't do it with Harvest Swarm, which had a bunch of new stuff, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it with.
In the name of Cenarius.
I can't remember what the Protoss game campaign is called. They actually added a bunch of new things, but in Wings of Liberty it was just everything was recycled. Just the campaign itself was new, and the campaign itself and everything that you could do during the campaign, that was brilliant. The way that you can interact with things between missions, the story itself was good. The characters were not rewritten; they were as they were originally, which I appreciated a lot.
By Elune.
Because up to this point, that wasn't really the case. Up until StarCraft 2, I'm gonna say StarCraft 1, but
As the goddess
characters in Warcraft 3, for example, while you will remember them, you will not remember them clearly,
immediately.
apart from a few units.
For Kalimdor.
StarCraft 2 characters are all... I'm just gonna say StarCraft characters overall are better written.
As the goddess
Overall,
wills.
they're better written.
In the name of Cenarius.
Personal opinion, of course, I have to always add that. This is only my opinion, so it doesn't have to be a shared opinion or an objective opinion. This is my personal opinion. I didn't enjoy the game any less because a bunch of stuff was recycled in it, but I did feel kind of cheated that I paid $60, which was a lot for me back then because I wasn't employed back then, and that was one of the games I couldn't get in any other way than get an original. And that's a lot of money in Croatia in those days, so at first I felt a bit cheated. I felt like I was paying a lot of money for an expansion or a remake, but later I didn't regret it. It was an awesome game, it still is, and I still enjoy playing it. I just wish that they'd put more in it. As in unit-wise. I'm talking specifically about units, so combat-wise. Because it's just more StarCraft. It looks nicer, it looks prettier. But combat-wise, StarCraft 2 is just StarCraft 1.
Our gold mine is running low. Okalamdor, our sacred grove is being desecrated.
Okay, this is kind of slowing me down. I wish I could actually make proper defensive structures, but that comes later, apparently. Yeah, it was like a 50-50 situation. I remember the feeling so well, because that feeling of disappointment, because to get an original game back in Croatia in those days, it was difficult. It was a substantial pain in the butt, and then to get a game that just feels like something you already have, because I had StarCraft 1 and played it so many times I knew it by heart. I felt cheated.
I stand ready.
It felt like I was sold a recycle game. You know what? I felt like what's a more recent game that was like that? That was just recycled. Assassin's Creed. Any of the newer Assassin's Creeds. It's just like you're selling me this game, but half of it is just faffing about. Half of it doesn't have any point whatsoever. And you've charged me money for this. I feel like that for most of the new Assassin's Creed games. It's just the story isn't interesting. It isn't there. It makes no sense. All the mythos of all the countries that they're going to is barely explored. And then they put in some expansion pack that you have to pay for to get something else interesting out of it. So that's more recently how I felt about some of these games. Oh, there we go. I actually got all of them.
As
oh,
the
wonderful.
goddess wills. Immediately.
Our gold mine has collapsed.
I will agree with that. Assassin's Creed was recycling itself a lot, but at least it had a story that you could forgive it, and it just added enough new stuff to be interesting to keep it going. But after Black Flag, that just isn't the case anymore. After Black Flag, the game lost something important. Okay, I'm getting attacked quite severely now. No, I could get him out and start attacking. Of course, he's just gonna die, but that's okay. Oh, hold on. There is no losing condition to losing this. Okay.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
Actually, no. Since you already need to be constructed, might as well construct you here.
I heed the voice of the wind.
There we go.
Ashrathoraman. By Elun, as the goddess wills. Immediately.
Crap, I do lack one furball. You're absolutely right.
Immediately.
Why did I think that I got all of them?
So be it. Immediately.
Actually, I'm just gonna send her alone. He's probably here somewhere.
I heed the voice of Elun.
Go as a group. Go as a group. I don't trust you gonna be surviving this on your own. Well, the thing is, I need to add certain things to my channel, but I don't know how. I'm ashamed to admit. I don't have that many people following me and watching me, so I don't really do certain things. Probably should, to be honest. But I will. That'll happen in time as well. I will be doing that. Eventually. Thing is, certain things you can only get once you get a certain path, certain amount of people following you. I'm not there yet. Why did you guys take that particular path?
Someone threatens the wilds.
Where is that? I think this is the part where we realize why I don't generally finish this quest. Is because I'm usually missing one furball, probably. Oh, there it is. There he is. There we go.
Your building is complete.
So be it.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
I just came from there.
Your building is complete.
So be it.
Let's just send everybody there.
I stand ready. Fire. I stand ready.
Many thanks, priestess. Now we can evacuate the village.
Yeah, because I'm just
Please accept
not
the
really
aid
keeping
of
any
our
forces in my base to
He
defend.
will protect your life with his own.
Your offer is a generous one. May Elun light your path to safety.
It's fine though.
Fair enough.
I don't mind losing people.
The goddess calls.
Says a lot about me.
As the goddess wills. So
Get
be
some
it.
furbolgs now, and I think they have heals. No, they don't. I was hoping, but no, they don't.
By Elun.
Time to eliminate the humans.
So be it. As the goddess wills. I stand ready. Ashrathoraman.
Also, it's not really an excuse, but I don't like playing with Night Elves. Of all the races, they're the least interesting to me. And when I was playing multiplayer, I never played with Night Elves. I just don't like them. They're a really boring race.
Someone threatens the wilds. Bandu Thoribas mortals, you will pay for defiling these lands. In the name of Cenarius!
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. There's a Paladin there.
Immediately. So be it.
Paladin who has invulnerability.
As the goddess wills. So be it. On your mark, you will move. I hear the voice. The goddess calls. Someone threatens the water. By Elune.
Wait for reinforcement.
I stand ready. The goddess calls. As the goddess wills. So be it.
Oh, come on. How much mana do you have left?
Someone threatens the water. Anudora! In the name of Cenarius! Anudora! In the name of Cenarius!
Oh, come on!
In the name of Cenarius!
How do you have such a short cooldown for that skill? Whenever I use a paladin, that skill has such a long cooldown, but no, when the enemy is using it, he doesn't have a cooldown. No cooldown for him, only for me. He can just spam that bloody skill.
I hear the voice of Elune. Immediately.
I don't like Night Elves. They don't have any melee units, they're really weak.
By Elune. Ashrathoraman.
Honestly, I don't even know. I barely remember playing with Night Elves as it is. Like I said, I don't like them. They're really boring as a race. I barely ever played with them. And as you can see, I'm not even good with them. They're just a bullshit race.
In the name of Cenarius! As the goddess wills.
I don't like them at all.
Immediately.
One a bit.
Someone threatens the wilds.
I'm gonna make a base closer to the enemy just so I can get units there more quickly. I could build anywhere close by. Anyway, I could build here. Yeah, why not?
I stand ready.
Problem with Night Elves is that they don't get any properly good units until much
I
later.
hear the voice of Elune.
I don't even have glaive throwers here. I just have the archers, and they have no armor, low health.
I stand ready.
It's...
The goddess calls. So be it.
all in all, not a good start.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
And then we have... And we fight two races which have good melee units.
By Elune.
Yeah, I completely agree. Compared to all other starting missions, this one is definitely the worst. For many reasons. One of them being that I only get archer units, and they get everything. I also can't grow my hero past level 2, so I only can get either True Shot Aura or these Searing Arrows, which are, at this point, a waste of mana. This is better because it increases range damage by 10% for all units near me. And which helps because I can't upgrade my units in the first mission.
Point the way.
Well, that's what I mean. The Night Elves are really boring. They are a boring race. They are not really interesting design. They are the worst of this game. That's what they are.
someone threatens the wilds.
And their campaign is really boring as well. I mean,
As the goddess wills.
no... Nothing of this is really fun.
Okalandor.
I stand
Hinduli Refa. In the name of Cenarius. So be it. Hinduli Refa. By Elun. So be it.
I stand ready.
As the
Oh
goddess
no.
wills.
Come on. Okay, this time I know that the cooldown was slow enough for this, but...
Okalandor. Sentinels, attack!
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. Let's just kill him.
I heed the voice of Elun.
There we go. Was that the mission? Just to kill him? It was.
It's the undead! Defend yourselves!
They must have followed us from Lordaeron.
Onslaughts. The dead advance in waves.
Quickly, my sisters. Back to the trees. We are no match for a force this fast.